Hi, I'm Ems, aka on Deck and Wings, and in this video I wanted to talk about painting your miniatures in subassembly. So this is where you paint your miniatures in parts rather than as a whole, so this is where you can get into the nooks and crannies of the model. Obviously this can be time consuming if you're doing it to a lot of models, and I wouldn't recommend, say, doing it if you're batch painting an army. But I do think it's worth doing if you're painting up a character model and you really want to do a nice paint job of it, or if you're painting up for a competition. And you don't necessarily have to subassemble every part. If there's something a bit awkward like a cape, it's recommended to do it for that. So the way I paint in subassembly is you want to get some cork. You can also get some model handles which have cork already in them. You don't have to spend a lot on cork, you can just get it cheap or recycle it from wine bottles, etc. Then you want to grab some wire. So I've got these brass rods. You can buy these, I use the 1mm ones. However, if you're on a bit more of a budget, you can just simply use a paper clip. You'll also want some wire cutters or trimmers. I won't recommend using your hobby nippers as it could break them. Then you'll need one of the little pin drills. You can get electronic ones if you want to. This is the one that I have, which costs about £15 from Janglife. This is like a knockoff Chinese one, but it's been pretty good so far. I'll try putting the link in the description below where it's from, and this comes with a load of extra tools as well. So you want to drill holes in the model where you can't see them once it's glued together, so the underneath sides, etc. And then you want to put a little bit of glue inside that. You can also drill holes into the cork so you get a bit more stability when you're pushing them in. And then you can put all the pieces onto a cork around the sides, or you can just do them individually on different pieces of cork. Like I say, you don't have to do this for every single part of the model, but if something's giving you a bit of grief, it might be better to paint it separately. Also, if you're worried about when you're drilling your miniatures, you can get these mini jewellery vices, so it's easier when you're drilling into your models in case you slip. When you're done painting your models, you want to take it out of the cork, and then you can cut these off. Or another option, what you can do is you can trim these down if you want to, and then if you've got a base, you can drill into the base and then push these in. So you're essentially pinning the model to the base, and this can be really helpful as well if you're going to be painting for competitions, so the model doesn't break in transport. Another thing this can be useful for as well, like I said with pinning, you can pin the model pieces together for additional stability. So I could drill some holes into where the arm sockets would go, and then push the bit of wire into there where the arm's already on the cork, and then essentially pin the model together. Obviously it's not something you have to do when you're doing subassembly, but it's just some food for thought, especially like I said if you're painting for display or a competition miniature so it doesn't break in transport. Another thing subassembly can be really helpful for is practicing painting miniatures, so you could stick a load of heads on one piece of cork and then you can practice your faces. Or if there's any other parts of miniatures you struggle with, like I said, get a load of pieces of them and you can practice painting them, and you can look like Vlad the Impaler with all your spiked heads. And another good thing with pinning them like this is you can turn the miniature around. Now there are some pre-done subassembly kits that you can get, like the Citadel one. And if this is something you prefer to use, fair enough. You know, a lot of stuff in this hobby is subjective, your own personal opinion. I personally prefer doing it this way, as I can be more precise with my painting, and like I said, I've got the option to pin my models to the bases or each other afterwards. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully this has given you some insight into subassembly. As always, my social media and links will be in the description below. Remember to enjoy your hobbies for yourself, and at the end of the day, they're just Wardollies. I will catch you in the next one.